Some people have a negative view towards it, and other people have actually sought me out and called me and said, they wanted to hire me. When I go into a little bit about my background, what I went through for the past 2 years, to inform them about my background, they, in some cases, have said that's exactly why they're calling me, because they know that I know exactly what they're going through. And when you stand wrongly accused of a crime, 1 moment in a jail cell is too long.
This guy's going to get some sort of Lifetime Achievement Award at Court TV. His name is Gary Zerola, okay? He's a lawyer. That was an interview we were doing as he was co-counsel in a trial that we were covering here on Court TV. 1 year after he had been on trial for rape, was found not guilty. Well, guess who's back on trial? Gary Zerola, a guy who is a lawyer. He was also one of People magazine's most eligible bachelors back in 2002. Unbelievable stuff. Judge Ashley Wilcott has the story tonight.
Criminal defense attorney Gary Zerola served as co-counsel in a 2009 trial covered by Court TV.
Mr. Zerola could join in too, since it's a defense request.
Zerola was trying to rehabilitate his career after being acquitted of rape charges just a year earlier at the time. He blamed his troubles on hard partying and vowed to change his ways.
No more playing hard. It's working hard, and the rest I spend time with my family.
Zerola enjoyed celebrity status in Boston. He was a former prosecutor, and in 2001, he was named one of People magazine's most eligible bachelors, featured in glossy magazines like this one, and appeared on Judge Hatchett's show. But his career took a hit when the rape accusations started to pile up.
I was like really scared. Like he was like trying to take my dress off, and I was like crying.
In 2008, he was tried and acquitted in cases involving 2 different women and a 3rd charge in Miami that was dropped. Now, new rape accusations. An indictment issued in 2017 charges Zerola with 2 counts of rape for allegedly assaulting a woman in November of 2016. According to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office in Boston, the alleged victim was friends with a woman that Zerola was dating. After a night of bar hopping, the woman went home intoxicated and woke up to find Zerola sexually assaulting her. Zerola was arrested and pleaded not guilty. While out on bond, he was again arrested and charged in 2021 with raping a woman under near identical circumstances. Again, he pleaded not guilty and is awaiting a separate trial on those charges. Back in 2009, Zerola said his past helped his career as a defense attorney.
When people have a negative view towards it, and other people have actually sought me out and called me and said, they wanted to hire me. They, in some cases, have said that's exactly why they're calling me, because they know that I know exactly what they're going through.
Zerola's attorney, Joseph Krowski, called the allegations paper thin and says his client is being made a target.
Unbelievable story, unbelievable developments. Jennifer Brandt, your thoughts?
Well, Vinny, it sounds like this guy keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and maybe one of these days he will get caught. Sounds like they got him now. It's disturbing to know that these allegations went back to, 2008, and he was acquitted, and it sounds like it just happens the same story over and over again. I don't know, unless a lot of people don't like him and are really after him, it sounds like he should be convicted in at least one of these trials. It's terrible, terrible.
Darnell, what's a bigger fall from grace, being an attorney and a prosecutor to an accused rapist, or being one of People's most eligible bachelors, along with Ben Affleck and George Clooney, and then being accused of being a serial rapist?
So obviously he has a defense. If he's so eligible and he's in all these magazines, why does he need to rape anybody? And then they're banging out his doors, and they're trying to seek an opportunity to make themselves more wealthy, I guess. I think it is a fall from grace, actually, to fall off that magazine and now have these women make up these accusations. One would think that he'll build on that type of momentum, and it's going the other way for some reason.
Al, what's the most surprising part of this whole scenario that Gary Zerola has been through.
He's still a lawyer. He hasn't been disbarred. I mean, that to me is the most amazing part of this. But what year was he on People magazine, most eligible bachelor?
I think it was
What year
about
was that?
2002, I think. 2002?
Okay, I wasn't in that issue. 1979, though, Vin, I did get the Gooferson Gallant Congeniality Award in Highlights magazine, which was very exciting for me and has led to a wonderful life of being here on Court TV.
Let me ask you, Darnell, someone who has been successful as a criminal defendant and then returns to the courtroom, like one of your clients, right, with the winning streak and all, do they become a little bit more confident?
Yeah, I do think you do become a little bit more confident. But he made a very good point that a lot of his clients are probably commiserating with them and saying, you know what it's like to have police make things up against you. You know what it's like to be falsely accused. So, that's a good story. That's something that people could relate to. However, as Jennifer was alluding to, I always find this as the lightning strikes in the same place twice kind of cases. Yes, I commiserate with you. Yes, I connect with that breakdown. But it seems like you need to stay far, far away from these bars or these women, because it's starting to make people feel like, are you overly confident that if you got away raped the first time, you can get away with it again? So it's a very murky waters.
Yeah, Jennifer Brandt, which part of this shocks you the most?
Which part of it? The fact that I agree with Al that he's still a lawyer, and that he's actually promoting himself on the fact that he got acquitted of this and he wasn't found guilty on any of these charges, but yet he's still out there, he's still partying, he's still going on and doing the same kind of things. So I think that's pretty surprising. I think if he was a little bit more humble and said, hey, I'm gonna like Darnell said, stay away from everything, then maybe we could feel differently about him.
Al, I'll give you the final word on Gary Zerola.
I think it's an absolute travesty that this guy is still practicing law. He should have been thrown out of the bar even though he was acquitted. It's still a lesser standard to be disbarred, and I think he should have been looked at and thrown out at that point. It's a disgrace to our profession to see somebody like this. All
right, take a look, folks. It all begins tomorrow. Massachusetts versus Gary Zerola on our docket. Opening statements tomorrow. Obviously, we will continue to give you all the big moments right here on Closing Arguments. Up next. In tonight's Tank Takes, a 10-year-old boy steals a car and leads police on a wild chase. After getting caught, he says he just wanted to go see his mom, who was 100 miles away. Is this 10-year-old a good son or a good driver?
There was pounding on the door. Bang, bang, bang.
He said that we'd seen his face and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
I Survived. Next on Court TV.
A Michigan daughter now facing a murder charge.
Megan Amirowitz is accused of throwing lye and water on her own father while he was sleeping.
The Sleeping Father murder trial, coming soon, only on Court TV.
Welcome back. Time for tonight's Tank Takes, where we take a look at the world of crime and justice. Some of the stories that are off the beaten path just a little bit, and get a take from our think tank. Still with us tonight, Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Well, let's get to the first story. Calling this one "Gotta Go." A woman in Georgia stops at the gas station, asked to use the bathroom, and finds out the bathroom is out of order, and she apparently then goes to the bathroom in a trash bin in the convenience store. When confronted by the manager, she became physically violent, and she also is accused of shoplifting some merchandise in her purse before the whole trash can fiasco began. All right, what's the bigger problem here, Al Wunsch? No bathroom or no shame?
To pee or not to pee? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows when one's got to go, and the John says no.
Darnell, I don't even know what that means.
Well, the bathroom's broken. Write this down, people, and you're going to look at it later, and you're going to laugh your heads off, okay?
Gotcha. No, it was good. Darnell, what's the bigger problem here?
That Al is not having difficulties anymore. I think we should, whatever was happening at the beginning.
I thought the same thing.
Jennifer wanted to pull the plug on him. Wow. Okay. All right. Should we move on to the next one? We got a next one. This one is really, this can almost be an endearing story, depending on how you take it. We call this one Mama's Boy. As a 10-year-old in Michigan heisted a car. There he is. He's driving that car with the flashes going on, gets into a chase with police, right? Kind of dangerous. They call OnStar. OnStar slows the car to a halt, and eventually he comes, I think he bumps into the side coming up here, the guardrails. He gets out, he runs, but they catch him. But when they catch him, he says, listen, I was just trying to go see my mom, who was 100 miles away in Detroit. Jennifer Brand, is he a good son or a good driver?
Well, Vinny, I'd like to think he's a good son because he wants to see his mom. I want to know why the mom was 100 miles away and who was watching him. So I don't blame this child. I blame those who are supposed to be supervising the child. And he's a pretty good driver for 10 years old, but pretty much a danger to everybody else out there on the road.
Darnell?
Well, let me guess. Since Jennifer blamed the mom, maybe they're going to take him away from the mother and give him to the father who gave him the car in the first place. The system is totally broken. We know that. So maybe Al will take this kid home today.
Al?
Well, as I always say, Vin, kids don't need a driver's license to drive their parents crazy. And this is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. I found it endearing that he wanted to see his mother, but we can't have 10-year-olds on the road. But he was handling himself okay. They used the OnStar as a way to slow down the vehicle and then eventually bring him over to the side. Okay, time for our final story of the night. We're calling this one, Oh Dear. A man in Ohio has been arrested for OVI, which is kind of like a DUI, after allegedly driving a tractor. There it is, the old John Deere tractor, drunk and crashing into numerous poles and traffic signs along the way. The damage included a crossing sign, a stop sign, utility poles, and power lines. We got these photos courtesy of WHIO7. Thank you so much. Darnell, would this case, if you were representing this man for OVI, break your streak?
Well, a couple of things. Typically, like in New York, if you're caught driving drunk, typically lawyers try to get it dropped down to the violation, which is driving while impaired. So this particular case, I'd probably try to get it dropped down to just mowing the lawn while impaired.
Al.
Yes. Well, it would ruin his streak because that ridiculous answer would have a judge gavel him on the head. Okay. But then secondly, with regards to this, that's the nice thing about being, a crane operator, because, you're either dropping a load or you're loaded. And in this case, he was loaded.
Oh.
Jennifer Brand, I'll give you the final word tonight.
I don't know, Vinny. Al's got to get some new jokes.
Thank you all so much. Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland in St. Bart's. We're all jealous. Jennifer Brandt, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon. All right, folks, before we go tonight, we have a missing child. So please take a close look at the screen. This is Michaela Johnson. Michaela Johnson, missing out of St. Louis, Missouri, only 16 years old, missing since May 22nd. So please, if you see Michaela, pick up the phone, call 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the St. Louis Police Department. We have the number for you up on the screen tonight. Let's see if we can get Michaela to a safe place. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.